Hello, welcome back to Ben's Live. In this episode, I want to show you just a breakdown of how I created this type of kind of like a spiraling silo, and we kind of dive into the silo. If I do F3 and turn on fly navigations, I can actually zoom in. So I just wanna have this type of experience, right? Like it's kind of like a vertigo kind of effects. I can go faster, but yeah, let me stop that. Let me show you control option spacebar so I can show you the setup. So it's basically, yes, very simple. So the setup is a little bit like this. If I show you all the nodes, it's probably around under 10. Let me go to view, frame selected, or view frame all. Yeah, so that's basically the setup. You probably can already guess how I did this. Maybe it's too wide, doesn't matter. So the design resembles Bagua. Also this thing used in, I don't know, Tai Chi, they call it Bagua. Basically, how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Kind of like 8 directions of a room that generate this type of a pagoda, like a tower. And it resembles like a building that's like a silo where you hide inside the building underground, and it goes deep, and everyone's kind of living there, like a Apple TV Plus movie silo, inspired but by that idea. So yeah, how I created this. So I started with a just mesh circle with 8 divisions. I can go higher, but if it's too high, you know, I mean the silo probably doesn't have too much room for each person. But anyhow, let's do an 8. The radius, we can adjust the radius. So by default, it's only like one silo room, one level. And for this mesh circle, I basically just extrude it in the Z directions. So we have a bit of room there. And make sure, I think individual can be on and off, or off. And then delete geometry just to delete the face at the bottom and at the top. So I specify delete the top selections and then extrude mesh. So this is the first extrude, and we have options to extrude it, to offset it, and then I scale it. We can actually, okay, turn this 0. So I can scale, and then I do this in uniform mode. You can try single axis or whatever. You can try single axis and then try different axis, but uniform for now. Extrude mesh. So we get like a frame for each face of the extruded circle. And the next one, we extrude it again. And then we scale it. So extrude and scale, that's basically the secret. It's very simple, right? Scale elements, extrude mesh. We just need to plug the mesh into the geometry and make sure we use top or the side correctly. And you can do that multiple times to make the room. And then, yeah, at this point it's just to add a little bit of fake details. And the next one is just to, if I cut the rotations, just to duplicate the silo room. This is the offset. So it's basically an array. So super simple. Yeah, but this is kind of like a hard drive storage as well. I think the most efficient way to store things in this kind of silo, and you can have unlimited amount. So the one I created was a little bit more interesting because it was rotated. If I rotate it like this, so it's rotated based on the index, and I just make it like a spiraling. Once it's like spiraling like this, you can then fly into this thing and you get the vertigo type of effects. It's like if you're flying drone and you're kind of diving in, and you can add some lighting over there. So currently it's using, I think, using Eevee render engine cycles. Probably actually Eevee is a little bit fast in recent Blender, so it's kind of nice type of effects. Okay, so it's very simple, something you can create very quickly. If you don't have computer, you can go to Apple Store and recreate this in a few minutes. That's the idea. So let's don't save, but I have a setup with more interesting shape. Oh, actually it's the same, just from the outside it's interesting, right? The shapes. And if you play around with this, play around with the extrude value, you get like sometimes the flowering pattern, you know, it's almost like sunflower geometry shapes. Very interesting. Sometimes they actually use this in the inside a mosque, kind of like geometry pattern. I just want to show you that. File, save as. So have a play with this idea. Control spacebar will give you this. Control Option spacebar give you the whole full screen. And I think if people new to Blender, they will get really surprised with this view. Just use fly navigations and then fly into this thing, fly into the silo. You can put more details into each room of the silo that can kind of be interesting. I wish Blender have another options, not just fly navigation, but more like a drone, and then you can control it with joystick. But I want to bring this into Godot game engine and then make it like a fly through. I like that idea, you know, make a virtual fly through or for like a simulated drone. But yeah, so my current obsession is drone. Don't know why, but silo. Here's the silo. So hopefully you find this useful. Again, it's very simple. You can improve this, make everything more crazy procedural. Each room can have different setup, but just the geometry nodes able to do this. I think it's kind of nice, even though it's, you know, it's super basic and simple. Hopefully you find this useful. Thanks again for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye.